evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Empire State EndZone. Alongside me, my colleague Francis Boeck, I'm Jacob Fyock. And before we get things started, Francis, why don't we thank our sponsors for tonight?
Yep, we'll start with Damon University, a private university in Amherst, New York, offering undergraduate and graduate level degrees. Visit damon.edu to schedule a tour today.
And we also want to thank Wingnuts Buffalo, located near the Buffalo Airport at 4600 Genesee Street. Dine in and order takeout, open Monday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Visit wingnutsbuffalo.com.
Richmond Vana LLC is committed to you. Being involved in a serious accident creates a whirlwind of changes. We know how serious the effects of a car accident can be on the victims and their families. At Richmond Vana LLC, we have helped our clients recover over $175 million. We have the skills and experience needed to handle a full range of car accident claims, including those with multiple parties and catastrophic injuries. Call 716-671-4341 for your free consultation today or visit richmondvana.com.
And then SUNY Cortland. SUNY Cortland stands out as one of New York's top public universities, a medium-sized school that offers academic strength across 68 majors, a high quality of student life, and a degree that pays back graduates. Visit www.2.cortland.edu to schedule a visit today. And we also want to thank here real quick Pathfinder College Planning, Dan Chacha Injury Attorneys, 510 Toy Shop and Sports Cards, and then the Mental Match with Sam Recco, as well as Canisius High School, St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute, St. Francis High School, Trent's Trophy, recognizing the top linemen in Western New York, Lewis & Lewis PC 37 Franklin Street in Buffalo, New York, and then Colvin Cleaners on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore, New York.
And we also want to thank Logistics Plus of Buffalo for all your transportation needs, full of truckload LTL, dedicated, and drop trailer moves. Logistics Plus Buffalo is a one-stop shop. Email buffalo@logisticsplus.com for your next shipment or warehousing needs. And finally, G&G Fitness. G&G Fitness Equipment is a full-service provider of specialty home and commercial fitness equipment, locations in Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse. Visit livefit.com.
Well, Francis, another week of high school football here in Western New York. Week 1 showed a lot of competition and also saw some surprising matchups and victories we saw over the past week. As you know, if we could take a look here, what the score is going to, or official scoreboard here for week 2.
To say
Scoreboard. Week 2 here. These are the games that are going to be taking place tonight, and we did already have one that technically went final as yesterday. Gowanda Pine Valley was supposed to take on Silver Creek Forestville. Unfortunately, the football team of Silver Creek Forestville did not have enough players, so Gowanda Pine Valley wins by forfeit. But all the other rest of the matchups you see on your screen, they're going to battle it out tonight to see what some teams still trying to get the first win of the season and also try to get that very important 2-0 start to their year.
Well, folks, if you are new to the Empire State EndZone, we do something that's very cool, and I don't think you see anywhere else in the country. We do Red Zone for high school, so we are following right now 8 games. You can right now see we're waiting for them to start because they haven't started yet. They start at 7 o'clock, but those are the 8 games we're going to be following. So for the next few minutes, we're going to talk about our top 8 games of the night, and then we'll get into kind of the rest of the games before everything kicks off at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Francis, you can start off right here. What the games that we are looking forward to see the most here as the night goes along.
Jake, we're gonna start off where we left off last week with the Lancaster Legends, who came off that amazing 29-28 overtime victory. Came in just before we ended last time. They come into this game. To their game this week, probably one of their biggest of the year. A rival they really don't like. Neither side likes each other in this game. A game that all of Western New York looks forward to. It's always perennially, I think, a top 5, top 10 game every year. And we're talking about Orchard Park, Lancaster. The Legends, they mentioned 1-0 coming off their victory over McKinley in overtime. This game, the Legends kind of won this game through the air. They were led by their quarterback, Matt King, 15 of 27 last week with 161 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also was the leading rusher as well for the Legends in this one. So the Legends, again, this year they only returned 3 starters from last year's team on both sides of the football. So they come into this still a pretty young team with a big test on the other side in Orchard Park. And meanwhile, Orchard Park, they're looking for a big bounce back win. They suffered a tough 40-13 loss last week against Health Sciences. This team, really struggled to, this game was kind of defensive stalwart for kind of the first half, and then the third quarter, Health kind of took over in this one. Some guys to keep an eye on, Jarek Bresky, 5 catches, 94 yards. He was their leading receiver. And then Jordan Haslett completed 13 passes for 192 yards and a touchdown. He did struggle a little bit turning the ball over. He'll have to take care of that tonight. Some of their top defenders include Matt Wright and Patrick Bundy, their leading tacklers from last week. So that is Orchard Park Lancaster. And that game, if you want to see the full thing, no need to worry. We have it right here on Western New York Athletics. That'll also be available for free on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and also another game that you can take a look at as well, which to me is going to be a pretty fun one here. It's going to be Clarence taking on Sweet Home. Both teams picked up a victory last week. Start off with Clarence. They shut out their opponent in Hutch Tech 28-0. 258 yards of total offense, but defensively they were all over the place, had 4 sacks and 4 fumble recoveries. And they're getting about half their guys back on offense, half their guys back on defense entering this season. And it's all under a first-year head coach in Chris Dixon after former head coach Paul Bergio retired last season. So they got a good amount of guys who haven't had a ton of experience on that Clarence team, one of them being Nathan Arnold, their quarterback, but he played well in that game against Hutch Tech, had 3 total touchdowns. They also got a nice young sophomore guy, an Eric Aguilera, who was very good on both sides of the ball, catching the ball and able to come up with some big tackles. And, of course, wish Tom Prince was here. What's the line going to be like? They have 2 very good senior linemen in Caius Mattoon and Brody Kaufman, who each had a sack in that game. So for Clarence, this is going to be a big one for them to try to go 2-0. But Sweet Home trying to do the same thing as well. They picked up a very good victory over Niagara Wheatfield. And Francis, I think you and I talked about, because we had Niagara Wheatfield on, and I think Sweet Home last week as well. I think it was one of those games where we were supposed to have, but I don't think the live stream was working.
Yeah,
but we did have the game go final, and that was a lot closer of a game than I thought it was going to be. And I think part of it has to do with Sweet Home's side of things. They have a very, very different offense from last year.
Very young, much younger offense.
Much younger offense, too. In fact, one of the expected starters on that team that was on last year's team, only one of them is back here returning. After that, all 10 of those guys expected to start on offense. The rest of the 10 guys are all new.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, are all new from that offense. So it's going to be a young O-line, too. They have 3 starters there. They're sophomores, but they got the job done. They got that win on the road against Niagara Wheatfield. But they've shown to be a strong physical team. That's what, when I spoke to head coach Jeremy Zimmer about, they're very young, but they're also a very physical team. And you kind of need that when you go up against a team like Clarence. So these 2 teams are going to dish it out to try to get that good 2-0 start.
All right, game number 3 is a battle between 2 1-0 teams, which kind of caught our eye a little bit, how they did. At least one of these teams. We'll start with Maritime Tapestry, who got the big 46-28 win over St. Mary's. Javon Funderburg had a big game, 150 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He had a big game. Their quarterback, Jalen Coleman, he only let me see here. Demetrius Moore was big on defense with 8 total tackles, and then they had for rushing as well Davion Blackwell with 3 carries, 87 yards. So this Maritime team, a big win last week was that because they were facing St. Mary's. It will admit it historically a team that has, that has struggled for sure. Is struggled to put wins together. But maybe this is Maritime's year where they're finally putting things together and they're putting themselves in the map after a couple of years ago, they split with Health Sciences. On the other side, we have Eden, 1-0 as well. They're coming off that 28-21 win over Lakeshore. They're led by a kid who has had his name in the Connolly Cup conversation this preseason, Brady Waring, the dual threat quarterback. He ran for 179 yards and 1 touchdown. He also threw for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns. So they're looking for a lot from him. Their leading receiver is Silas Nellis, 10 catches, 100 yards, caught 2 of those touchdowns. And on defense, they're led by Peyton Taylor, who had total 7 tackles last week, tied for most for the Raiders.
And then another matchup here that I'm going to be intrigued to see how it's going to shape up Class B, especially in Class B1, because that's going to be an extremely tough division. Pioneer taking on Williamsville South. Will South took on Will East. We had that game last week to begin the football season. The Flames came away with that 24-14 victory over the Billies. But we know how tough this, B1 division is going to be. They have some very good guys on the roster by like Amir Caesar, who ran for over 100 yards. They also have Philip Ganji, who not only threw a touchdown, but also had a rushing touchdown as well. And also their senior offensive and defensive lineman, Baron Schnell, talked about Brady Warren on E. North Collins on the Connolly Cup. Baron Schnell was one of those Week 1 Trent's Trophy nominees. So he's out there ready to dominate against this Pioneer squad, who is young. It's a very different team than it was from last season. And I got the opportunity to watch that game, broadcast that game with one of my other colleagues, Tom Prince, when they took on Lackawanna. They faced a lot of adversity at the start of that game. They had a big injury on their roster before the game. Isaac Platt, who's coming to his junior year, supposed to be very good for them, especially on the running attack. He got hurt, couldn't play. As the game went along, essentially their backup running back, Jasik Sawicki, he got hurt. He was done for the day. So you had 2 important guys on the run game that were done. And as we know, when it comes to high school football, especially in this Pioneer program, if you know head coach Jim Dupre, it's next man up. Colt Schlutler played well. A.J. Martin, he was a call-up. He's listed as a junior on the team. He got called up a couple of days before this game got started. And he had to go fine-tune right away into this game plan. He was very good for them on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they played very well. Got a couple of sacks from the senior guy, Dakota Smith, who's playing that defensive end tight end role. They're tough. They're gritty. And I got a chance to interview them after the game, and a lot of them had that same mindset saying, Highmark Stadium. They want to get back there. And I know it's still early on in the season, and with this Class B1 division and Class B as a whole shaping up how it could be, it's going to be very, very tough. And they got that tough matchup coming their way very soon against Williamsville South. But they are ready to go and try to prove to everyone that they want to get back there.
All right, Game 5 is a non-league game between 2 teams coming off losses in Week 1. Niagara Falls, AA team, they fell to Bennett last week. But get this, 18-13. That's not bad. This is a Niagara Falls team has struggled against a Bennett team, which is, perennially been one of the best teams in West New York, if not the state. So Niagara Falls comes out, and they play Bennett tough. They do lose. They take on a Williamsville North team that badly needs a bounce back this week. We saw it last week. They were one of our featured games. They fell to Jamestown 38-7 and really had trouble with the Jamestown offensive line and Chase Bonta. Looking at their stats from last week, they're led by rusher Cale Rogers. He had 50 yards and a touchdown. Their quarterback, A.J. Weissenberg, who was one of their key returnees, he was 7-12, 41 yards. And then on defense, 11 tackles for Iman Mio. So a lot of work for Williamsville North to do. They're going to be at home this week, so a chance for them to bounce back. But this Niagara Falls team, I'm not to say that you should be happy with the loss, but that seems might be too early. That seems like an impressive loss to lose to Bennett by less than a touchdown.
Yeah, especially the past couple of years, what Bennett has been and what they have become, especially not only here in Section 6, but the state level as well. They've been phenomenal. And seeing Niagara Falls, make that a close one. That's very impressive.
All right, tell us about game number 6.
So this one is going to be an intriguing one here. This is way down in the southern tier. The team of combined schools of Chautauqua Lake, Westfield, Brockton on the road to take on Portville. A new era here for Chautauqua Lake. Head coach Ty Harper, the new head coach for them, got his first win as a head coach for that team after a dominant 49 to 8 victory over Tonawanda. Ran the ball for 210 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. And defensively, they wrapped up 4 sacks, got 2 interceptions, one of them being a pick 6. And one of the guys who got that pick 6 was number 12, Thandon Bensink. He also ran the ball for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he'll be a key guy to look out for in that matchup. And then we got another Trent's Trophy nominee. Trent Hauser was one of the other guys that was nominated for Week 1's Trent's Trophy Players of the Week. So Portville's going to have a very, tough matchup against them. But, hey, they picked up a 1-0 victory as well. And it was also a 49-8 victory. They took on the team that's recently gotten back up to 11-man football against Allegheny Limestone, also the combination of Allegheny Limestone Hinsdale. So they won 49-8 in that matchup. They got some really good guys, though. Adam DeFazio, I remember him on the team last year. He looked good. He's back their senior year, had 4 total touchdowns. Adam Rowe led the way with 83 rushing yards. Kind of did that dual threat, but in terms of throwing the ball and rushing, he was rushing and catching the ball as well. He also had a pick 6, too. Kingston Laux, Jake Ziegler, Landon Hendricks, Demetrius Young, they got a good, heavy senior presence on this team, and it'll be interesting to see how they're able to favor against that Chautauqua Lake squad.
All right, game number 7, what I'm really looking forward to. I saw him last week in the first game of the year, one of the first games in the year. That was West Seneca East. They got that huge win over Star Point, 42-14. They take on Cheektowaga, who also got a win last week, 18-12 over East Aurora. This West Seneca East team, if you guys haven't seen him yet this year, but you've seen West Seneca East in the past, this is what Coach Marino wants from his offense. 4 or 5 guys who can run the football, who can score. Nobody is amazingly athletic, although I'm going to talk about their sophomore in a second. But you have a bunch of guys who understand the offense. Again, they return, I think, 9 starters on both sides of the ball, guys who understand what a Coach Marino wants. They're built for the system. Nobody's super athletic or fast, but they know exactly what they're doing. They know where to go. They had 4 guys rush for over 50 yards. Kyler Montero led the way with 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then you had Eric Johnson, the, I think, sophomore, who had 6 carries, but he got 54 yards and 2 touchdowns. Almost anytime that kid had the ball, you felt like he could take it all the way. That great rushing attack. I even talked about their quarterback, DJ Benker, who was only 7-12 for 122 yards, but he ran that offense to perfection. He also threw 2 touchdowns. And then their receiver, Joey Molnar, he's just kind of a kid who comes out of the backfield, and he's just like a little bit like that Shakir. Maybe not quite the same amount of speed, but in terms of like he's always in the right spot, and you can tell that Benker trusts him. So this West Seneca East team could be very dangerous this year, and Cheektowaga is going to have their hands full. As for the Chargers, mentioned 18-12 winners over East Aurora Holland last week. Cheektowaga did not put any stats, and I must have read that wrong. So we'll see what they have from them put up for. But I remember last week when I spoke to West Seneca East, they were saying they had Cheektowaga week 2 last year, and kind of, similar situation. They started out great in week 1, and then week 2 didn't quite have it together. They didn't quite come back ready. So that's going to be the key for this team, is to be ready for week 2, ready for Cheektowaga, and then try to carry this momentum forward.
Yeah, game prep is always so important when you're going from one opponent to a next, and that's what these next 2 teams I got for my last slate here. They're both 1-0, another Southern Tier matchup. Southwestern Frewsburg taking on Fredonia. And as for Southwestern Frewsburg, they defeated Cleveland Hill 58-6. Almost 500 yards of total offense along with 5 touchdowns. And I'll just say this real quick. we know with the Connolly Cup Players of the Week, there's only so many you can put on for each week, and it's very tough at times to, who's going to make that list. And
sometimes it's about if they're at your game, too.
Exactly. And one of these guys was Trent Lewis, senior quarterback, also defensive back, but he was a dual threat guy that game. 141 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, 108 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns, 5 total touchdowns for him on the day. Braden Fuller, his teammate, senior running back, 161 yards and 3 touchdowns. Those 2 guys alone dominated through the air and on the ground as well. So they're going to be a tough matchup against this for this Fredonia squad, who had a nice battle against Springville. They defeated them 18-6. And there'll be guys that Southwestern Frewsburg's going to have to worry about, especially guys off the edge like Brennan Lincoln, their senior, Riley Moore, they're another senior for them. They had a combined together 17 tackles, 6 of them were sacks. So they can get off the edge. They'll pressure the quarterback right away. We'll see how those 2 guys go up against a guy like Trent Lewis. They also have a sophomore running back. He's listed as a running back, but really did well for them in the receiving game. Lavonitz Donovan, I hope I pronounced that correctly, 3 catches, 102 yards last game. So a lot of positives for both sides and what they can do on both sides of the ball. We'll see how they clash out against each other in Fredonia.
All right, that will do it for our top 8 games. Folks, if you're tuning in for the first time to our show, coming up very soon, not next, but very soon, we're going to follow all these games. I don't know if we can pull up our scoreboard again. There we go. That's the look at all the scores going on tonight, or all the games going on tonight. We're going to keep that updated live on air. We're also going to follow those top 8 games that we just talked about. We're going to try to get live look-ins at all of those games. We're going to have call-ins throughout the night, and we're going to be on the air until about 10 o'clock. So I know it's almost kickoff now. So if you're at the game, if you want to, put the phone away for the anthem, get into your game, but once you're, maybe 7:15-ish, 7:30-ish, when you would normally go on Twitter or Facebook and figure out the rest of the scores, just come back here and, of course, tell your friends all about it. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some other games we're keeping an eye on tonight, and then it'll be kickoff. Week 2 is officially underway.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Thank you guys also for tuning in. We'll take this quick break. We'll be right back for more.
At Richmond Vona, we are seriously dedicated to bettering the communities that we serve.
You will get super high level communication, and you are getting a team of dedicated attorneys, paralegals.
If you put your trust in us and hire us, we promise to take care of everything. Call us as soon as possible so we can start the investigation to fight to get you the settlement you deserve.
Wing nuts. You still got to go.
Have you guys tried Room 40 yet?
Looking for the perfect spot to throw your next party? Say hello to Room 40, our private event space at both Wingnuts locations. Maybe you got a birthday, a graduation, anniversary, business event, rehearsal dinner, or even a sports banquet. From intimate get-togethers to rowdy celebrations, Room 40 is built to handle it all and fits up to 60 guests, with custom food and drink packages, flexible setups, legendary Wingnuts hospitality, and all the wings you can handle. If you're planning a celebration or get-together in Buffalo, this is where the party's at. Local vibes, zero stress, all fun. Book Room 40 today and throw a party Buffalo won't forget. Hit the link in our bio or visit wingnutsbuffalo.com/room40 to book now.
All right, well,
I'll go if you go to Wingnuts.
Deal.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? to defy age, or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do. Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
I'm George Wiley, a senior at Canisius High School. As the only Jesuit high school in Western New York, Canisius delivers a life-changing education. Canisius prepares young men for acceptance into the nation's finest universities, and our community supports us at each step of our journey. We are proud of our excellent athletics and our emphasis on service. This place is special. Let us show you why.
Experience firsthand the excellence of Canisius High School. Schedule your visit at canisiushigh.org.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics.
For an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs, more information about our Buffalo office is available at logisticsplus.com/Buffalo.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to week 2 of the Empire State EndZone. And Francis, we have a lot of games that are going to be coming up here very soon. But why don't we take the time to look at the past 3 games that we saw yesterday? We had some really good matchups. Iroquois against Depew, North Tonawanda against Grand Island, and then Lakeshore at South Park, which that Lakeshore South Park game, that's where Tom and I were for broadcasting that game for us on the NFHS network. So, but why don't you go through like those first 2 games, and how the results went for them?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Pretty light Thursday night. We had Iroquois kind of a bounce back win, 40-20 over Depew, and then Grand Island is continuing their success, 58-7 over a North Tonawanda team that won last night.
And then for, myself and Tom Prince, we were at All High Stadium, watched South Park against Lakeshore. South Park won 19-12. And we got to a point in that game, Francis, where at the end of the first half, we were kind of surprised this wasn't a 21-20 game, because both the offenses were moving down the field extremely well. But you had some unfortunate events on both offenses, some penalties, some miscues. We saw some turnovers on both sides of the ball, but there was some really good athleticism we saw in that game. One of them was even from one of the big men on their team, in Joe Sacco, who had a rushing touchdown, came in as quarterback, and also was kicking extra points for them as well. He was a one-man wrecking crew out there, doing it on all sides of the ball. But also on Lakeshore side of things, Cooper Hazard was very good, able to escape pressure, get out of the pocket, make some throws to his guys. Watch out for, I'll also say this, when you're going up against Lakeshore, watch out for the Smaldino brothers. Tommy Smaldino, and then his younger brother, Samuel Smaldino, who's as a tight end. These two are going to wreak havoc in that Lakeshore passing attack. And I also want to give one more shout out to South Park. Jalen Brown did a phenomenal job throwing the ball down the field, connecting to his guys, including Julius Jackson, who's his favorite guy to go to. But athleticism for South Park was able to prevail at the end, beating Lakeshore 19-12.
All right. Why don't we pull up again our scoreboard, live scoreboard. We're going to keep this updated all night. You can see all the games going on tonight in Section 6. We mentioned 8 at the top of our show. Jake, give me 1 or 2 more that we didn't talk about that kind of jump out to you.
I will say Newfane for me, just because of them going down the Class D, how they're going to favor. So they're going up against Franklinville, Ellicottville. I haven't really heard much about what Franklinville, Ellicottville is doing, but that's a far ride for Newfane, going all the way from Was it Newfane? Niagara
Newfane
County?
is
Niagara County.
Actually, or it's I think it's still in Niagara County.
And they got to go all the way down to Franklinville. I believe it's Franklinville High School.
It's at Franklinville. So I mean,
so that's a very long,
you can't,
very long road trip.
There's not too many road trips that are longer than that if you're staying within Section 6.
Yeah.
So that was actually, you stole mine. My one I was going to take, because I thought you were going to take this one, which is Bennett traveling to Ohio to take on Washington Massalian.
See, I thought that was going to be yours. I thought that was going to be yours. Like, you're all over that Bennett one.
So yeah, the Tigers, we mentioned earlier, coming off that 18-13 win over Niagara Falls last week. I don't know. There might have been a kickoff. Oh, okay. We might have
Well, we're already in it now. Will South against Pioneer. And Will South cutting to the outside, and just like that, in what looked like to be...
I think that's Amir Caesar.
Yeah, that looked like to be Amir Caesar.
Is that a 0? Yeah, it's 0, right?
I was seeing how many plays were already there.
Well, 9:52.
It was a second and goal. So yeah, 9:52.
So they must have got
some
an
time
early
taken
start off.
But all right, Amir Caesar, the senior, getting the first touchdown for us, week 2 Empire State end zone.
Yeah, folks,
starting it off with a bang.
Yeah, folks, we thought we were going to have to take a short break and everything set like before the game started rolling, but apparently this one got started early.
Yeah, my guess is they started like a couple minutes earlier.
Maybe they just like, I don't know. There's no. I'm trying to think what's going on today. What they're trying to get out for.
I think it's just more of a feeling thing. It's like
maybe
some teams they do the warm-up, saying like, it's at 7. Let's just get it started now.
All right, Will South going for 2. It looks like another handoff to Caesar. Same play, and he gets in. That's 2 points for Will South. We saw them last week against Will East, a game we were following. They lost a tough, close one to their rival Will East, but they come out on the board first against Pioneer in this big-time B1 matchup.
Yeah, they're all the way down in Pioneer as well. Again, not a not a short ride at all, but definitely not what it is for Newfane and Franklinville, Ellicottville. So you mentioned about the Bennett matchup.
So actually, I was going to add
they're going to have.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can get the scoreboard back up there. Just take a look at some of the other matchups that we're going to see here tonight.
Bennett, Washington, Niagara Wheatfield Frontier. I want to see more out of those that Falcons team. The Niagara Wheatfield ones after that close game against Sweet Home. Orchard Park. Oh, we mentioned Orchard Park, Lancaster. I want to see what McKinley does against Amherst. You saw Amherst. They played a tough game against Maurice. McKinley played Lancaster very tough. Is this McKinley going to how are they going to respond after that loss? Starpoint took a tough loss. They're going to take on a Newport team. How does Starpoint bounce back in that one? Let's see a couple other games. JFK is opening their new field tonight.
Okay.
They're going to take on St. Mary's and Lancaster, so the Bears looking for a win.
The one thing I am interested in seeing a bit. So you just mentioned JFK. Cat Little Valley played against them in week 1. They won that game. I believe it was 28-12. They're taking on Wilson, who's also 1-0. They had a dominant victory against Alden. I'm curious to see how those two fare against each other. So Wilson, Cat Little Valley, you haven't heard much about Cat Little Valley in a while. So how much does that first win for them? How does that gain the momentum here to take on, a Wilson team that's always been a tough one?
Yeah, another one that kind of sticks out to me. Maryville, remember, they lost their quarterback early in that game. They won. They beat South Park, but they lost their quarterback. We'll see if he comes back tonight. We'll see if we get any updates, if anyone's there. They take on an Ole team, another team kind of making a big trip up to, roads to Olean are all kind of far away, as Jeremy well knows, our producer. So it'll be interesting to see what that game's come out of. Jeremy, do we need to take a break to get the rest of the game set up? We kind of got caught off guard, I know, because the Will South Pioneer game was ready. Do we need a quick break to get everything else set up? Okay. All right, we're going to take a short break, folks. One that we were going to take 5 minutes ago. Short break. We're going to get all of our games set up. That Octobox, which you glanced at a few minutes ago if you joined us at 6:30. There you go. You can kind of see it's there. Games starting to get together. It seems like we have action with Clarence and Sweet Home, but all those games are supposed to have it looks like still no score on that one. We have I think it's actually cut off in terms of what Sweet Home has. But we'll take Jeremy, why don't you we'll let you take a short break, and then we'll get everything kind of set up. And our Octobox is going to be full of games and plenty of action. Unless
hang on 1 second. Here goes Clarence.
Actually,
Clarence just got inside the 30-yard line.
Jeremy is an amazing producer. He can still fix the other games while we're watching this one. I believe in him.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing with high school football. It's always the big chunk plays you're going to see, especially at the varsity level. That was won by Clarence, and let's see what they try to do here. They're at Sweet Home's 27-yard line. And I think that's a game you had, right? Oh no, you know what? I'm sorry.
That was you. That was game number 2.
You are correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you pull up do you have the roster, Jake?
I do have the roster. And this was one that, this is always, I feel like, could be a fun matchup. In fact, these guys played against each other last year in the semifinals, I believe, and they had a big back and forth battle in their respective class playoff brackets.
If you're watching at home, I see we got some viewers on YouTube. Feel free to chat with us. Put something in there. Obviously, keep it clean. We're not crazy like Frank here.
Oh, and also, if you're in the chats and you're at a game that we don't have,
send us scores in. We want to keep our live scoreboard updated. That we need your help to do that. We're also on Facebook as well. So if you want to comment on there, we're on Twitter as well. We're live. So whoever you're watching us, we thank you, and send us tweets your way. We have a couple of reporters out in the field, kind of that will get some call-ins as well too. Some other reporters we're following tweets of. So yeah, we try to keep you kind of locked in and having fun with us.
So looks like Clarence took a penalty. So they're at Sweet Home's 23-yard line.
It's second and looks like 6.
Yeah, it looks like about second down and 6. They got one man in motion, so they're going to look to that left side, feeling the pressure. Arnold just going to take it himself. He gets wrapped up, taken down. Tough
trying to catch
there.
a number.
Yeah, it's going to be tough there with those navy blue, gold jerseys, especially those jerseys are a little bit crunched up a little bit.
Yeah. We should mention Chris Dixon, new coach for Clarence, previously coached at St. Mary's of Lancaster and Lancaster. So, and he was an assistant on the Clarence staff for the past few years. So, no stranger to high school football, Chris Dixon.
It looks like they had a penalty. It looks like Clarence committed a penalty. I didn't see the yellow laundry out on the turf, but they're getting pushed back. So,
that means that Sweet Home accepted the penalty too.
So that's the Sweet Home 33. Is what they'll have it. So it's second down. Looks like to be about second down and 16.
Okay, so okay, so we have a change up. As I don't know if you heard Jeremy, game number 3, we weren't able to get the Eden feed, but that's okay because we have backups. And that backup, as you're seeing up here, is Albion and Dunkirk, and Dunkirk's already off to an 8-0 lead. This is, I believe, Dunkirk Public Access. No, I'm sorry. Is it Dunkirk? Dunkirk Public Access. Put that up. I think we have a reporter. Brendan Carmen is at the game. We'll see if he has any details on who scored, so we can kind of give you that as well. Don't have that yet, but we should be getting that soon. We do have an update from the Fredonia game. Looks like they're up 6-0. Donovan Dowdy finds Levance Donaldson for a 28-yard touchdown. So Fredonia leads in their game 6-0. I believe. Oh, I forget who they were facing. Let me pull that up here.
It should be Southwestern Frewsburg.
Southwestern Frewsburg.
Southwestern Frewsburg. So Southwestern Frewsburg has the ball right now, 2nd down and 10 at looks like at Fredonia's 35-yard line. And I will say this, I think out of all the games we've had so far, I know it's only been 2 weeks, but that's probably the most clear, crisp shot we've had of the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Their scoreboard, I should say.
Yeah. Well, this is Fredonia Public Access that puts this on. This is produced by their public access channel. So shout out to them.
That ball got tipped.
Yeah. Public access television by Fredonia. You can see they're the ones who are bringing us this game. We thank you guys for this one. You've always done a great job. It was so fun to work with you guys. And you guys are doing a great job right now. If you're watching, either probably not live, but maybe recorded later on, or maybe if someone out there you know who is them, give them a shout out. So yeah.
That touchdown you mentioned, was that Braden? Was that Braden that was at the game?
That was no. I'm sorry. That was from Greg Larson.
Greg Larson. Okay.
Greg Larson's on that one.
Also, that tip pass, good catch there by number 4 George Marshall, set up a 3rd down and 7 at the 30. Oh, look at that angry run. It looked like it got cut off though, almost to the end zone. Let's see who the ball carrier was that time. That was Braden Fuller, the senior. So Braden Fuller already making an impact, had 3 rushing touchdowns last week with over 150 yards.
All right, we're going to game 4. Will South at Pioneer. It looks like Pioneer is moving.
That's another one of my games. I'm just taking all the games here, Francis.
Yeah.
They just tried to take a shot at the end zone. I wonder if that was trying to go to Dakota Smith. And I don't know what the down it is because part of that scoreboard is cropped out. But it looked like that was...
Okay. Allegheny Limestone 7-0 over Randolph. Score coming in.
Okay, so that's West Seneca East who just got the extra point. So right now it says 6-0 there, 5:17 the first quarter for them. That's West Seneca East. I think that's who you had there, right? West Seneca East game? Or was that one of those that you were...
I think, yes, that was. We're dealing with... I know some of you out there wondering where OP Lancaster is working on that right now. It looks like, we're trying to figure that out right now. If you could take over, Jake.
Okay. Yeah, you're all good there. Just trying to see what's going on here. Let's check the Clarence Sweet Home game real quick. I don't know. I'm just trying to see the possession of what that is. Okay, so that's Sweet Home that has the ball going 4 wide. Again, guys, very young Sweet Home team offensively. So, but they did pick up their season opening victory over Niagara Wheatfield. Yeah, getting up past the 30 there, seeing who is listed there. Looks like that was to be Xavier Allen. That's their senior quarterback, also playing defensive end for them on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, we have another scoring update. All right, Salamanca is up 6-0 over Springville. So another scoring update. First update from that game down in the Southern Tier. Can we go back to the to the Fredonia game, Jeremy? Yeah, we have an update from Greg Larson. Southwestern Frewsburg did score. Braden Fuller on a 5-yard run makes it 7-6 as they convert on the PAT.
All right, so 7-6 game there. Still going past the midway point of the first quarter.
Okay, so we're missing 2 games. We're missing games 5.
Well, I think Bishop Time was our backup one. That's the one I had.
Yeah, so Will North did not come through? Okay. Will North and I'm going to send you. We're figuring this out in real time, folks. We want to get all 8 of those games filled in. Jeremy, I think I'm going to send you I'm going to check YouTube real quick to see. Sometimes Portville puts on YouTube, so I might send you a link for that. Okay. All right, Evan,
So we
got another score.
Scoring update.
Okay, Washington, Missannon. Oh, I'm saying it wrong, aren't I? Missalian leading Bennett 13-0. Latest update there. Evan, once the scoreboard's updated, why don't you let us know? We can pull that up as we continue to work on filling out these games on our Octo box.
Yeah, now like right now on this Octobox, looks like we got the Sweet Home game, Clarence game going on. Dunkirk games going on. Pioneer against Will South. We have the West Seneca East game on, and we also have Fredonia who's taking on Southwestern Frewsburg. So right now it looks like Fredonia might be moving on the offense side of things. Right now, little by little, Fredonia just going down the field. That ball carrier being Aiden Ronsky. Aiden Ronsky, one of the key guys on that team. Over 150 yards, 2 touchdowns last week in their victory over Springville. And it's already been a 7-6 broadcast. It's nice back and forth battle on a, feel like I can say now, old school grass field. Don't really see those as much as, compared to the field turfs that we have now seen across Western New York, but they're getting ready on a 3rd down and 4. Going to hand it off Ronsky once more, and he's just going to be short of the first down by about a couple of yards, but they're still trying to go down the field, 4th down territory for them.
All right, we did find a link for Will North Niagara Falls. If you want to go back, Jeremy, it's right now it's 7-0 North. If you want to go back to the original link, there were 2 games for Niagara Falls. You might have to click on the other Niagara Falls. That might help you pull it up. But right now it is 7-0 Spartans. 5:32 to go in the first quarter, and it's Spartans with, well, it looks like they just scored. They're about to kick off, actually. So Spartans on the board, 7-0 over Niagara Falls. And, yeah, that's in the first quarter. So that'll be up momentarily. So we have that one in. And then we'll try to figure out, we still have one more slot to fill after that, right, Jeremy? Okay. So we will figure that one out. Let's see.
Got a scoring update?
All right, Niagara Falls getting rung. Big rung there. Can't see who that is, but big drive start for the Wolverines.
And like we just mentioned before, this new game that we're putting here on the Octobox. It's one of the 8 games, 7-0 Will North on Niagara Falls, just over 5 to go in that first quarter.
We do a scoring update. Chautauqua Lake 7-0 over Portville. That's from Smurdy sending that in. We're gonna check on the Orchard Park Lancaster game that still is not up, so we are gonna work on that to see what's going on. Actually, I think I'm gonna step away if that's okay with you, Jake, and figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to look on Twitter right now. So Dunkirk looks like they tacked on some more points, so they're up 15-0 on Albion. So Albion just starting off, their right side of the O-line just moved, so that's going to push them back. Just going to take a look here through on Twitter, see if we have anything on some scoring updates here. Looks like we don't have anything yet other than right now between Dunkirk and Albion. So right now we're showing you Williamsville North taking on Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls, we mentioned earlier in our broadcast that they had a battle against Bennett. It was only a 1-score loss for them. I'm just going to take a time here real quick just to look up their roster. Showing out of the shotgun formation. It's going to be a 3rd down. Looks like about 3 yards to go. Going 4 wide receiver set. He's going to go deep shot. He has a man wide open, and it's going to be incomplete. A chance there for Niagara Falls to try to go for a deep shot down the field. Couldn't get it, so it's going to bring up 4th down and short for them. And what that looks like be probably, 4th down territory for them, but they were able to break through that secondary, just couldn't haul in the catch. All right, let's go and switch it around here. Midfield time. Clarence and Sweet Home. Looks like Clarence has the ball. 2:30 and counting going for them in the first quarter. This is going to be a very fun matchup here for 2 Class A schools, and they just ate that up right away. Sweet Home able to get to the backfield immediately. The senior defensive end, Elijah White, along with the teammate, helping themselves out. That was a loss of 2 yards there for Clarence. And for a lot of these teams, some of them had their divisional opponents last week to kick off the season, some here in week 2. It's their first divisional matchup, and those can be so crucial right out of the gate. So it's almost, just as crucial as getting that week 1 victory. Trying to start out 1-0, it always creates positive vibes for the rest of the year. See what Clarence does here. Pass here, caught, going into Sweet Home territory. He got brought down, looked like at the 40-yard line. That's very close to a first down marker. Oh, they're going to give it to him. They're going to say first down. They just got a minute to go here. Late substitutions for Sweet Home. They got to get 2 guys off. They got some confusion there. So from the snap, cutting up to the left and losing about a couple yards. So we're going to go ahead as that one has a minute taken away in the first quarter. It's like a punt here. This was by Southwestern Frewsburg. As a penalty marker comes down. So it looks like Chautauqua Lake Southwestern Frewsburg that punted there. So right now the refs go ahead and discuss that. See some of the scoring updates that we've had here so far. Salamanca up on Springville 6-0. We have Washington Massillon up on Bennett 13-0. Southwestern Frewsburg, the game you just saw, was 7-6 in front of Fredonia. Will North up on Niagara Falls 7-0. Randolph, Allegheny Limestone, Hinsdale, they're tied at 7. 6-0 West Seneca East up on Cheektowaga. 7-0 lead for Chautauqua Lake, Westfield, Brockton over on Portville. Dunkirk up on Albion 15-0. That's one of our games that we're now seeing on the Octobox. And then a 6-0 lead, Salamanca over Springville. And I know one of our games we were supposed to have, I believe, was Orchard Park Lancaster. We're having some technical difficulties on that broadcast, but we hope to bring that to you guys. So we just heard a scoring update. Newfane is up on Franklinville, Elkinville 7-0. As they still have some time left in the first quarter. So here's Niagara Falls. Just under 3 to go for them. It's a first and goal at the 9. From that shotgun, it's going to be QB Keep taking it himself. Gets tripped up. As a great job there by Will North. Take a look and see who was the gentleman that brought out that tackle. Looked like it might have been no gain for them. That was number 45 for Will North that came up and made a big tackle. Brandon Deitch, hopefully I'm saying that one correctly, the junior there in on the tackle. So they still have 2:06 here. Looks like they have a clock stoppage here. Looks like just to maybe spot the ball. Looked like they credited Niagara Falls 1 yard. Okay, so right now we're going to switch over here. West Seneca East up 7-0. They're just going to take it right up the gut, get close to the 5-yard line. That's where they're at right now. Just taking a look here at the roster sheet here for West Seneca East. So they're getting very close there. Had a really dominant victory over Star Point, 42-14 in that one. What was a big key there was their rushing attack. Kevin Sadowski with 79 yards rushing. Kyler Montero, 80 yards rushing, along with 2 scores. Eric Johnson had 4 carries for 66 yards and 2 scores. So it's all ground and pound for them. They'll go ahead and try to take it to the outside, try to get forward to the end zone. Going to be short, just about a yard. And that was number 17 for West Seneca East. That was on the carry. Kewan Williams, a sophomore. They just got 11 minutes to go there in the first half. I know part of the score, their scoreboard's a bit cropped off, so I don't know what the down is, but the distance is just about a yard. So it looks like Southwestern Frewsburg is up on Fredonia 13-6. I don't know, Jeremy, if we can go back to that West Seneca East game. Looked like they were very close from scoring, and just saw the celebration there. They just scored, so West Seneca East has now extended out their lead 13-0. As we mentioned before, with the other score between Fredonia and Southwestern. We'll take a look back there at that score real quick as West Seneca East trying to go for the PAT. It looks like to be Joey Molnar. There'll be one kicking the PAT. And as we're taking a look at our Octo box here, still have a couple of games that have not been, they have been going on, but we don't have the broadcasts of them just yet. We'll get to them to you guys as quickly as we can. Jeremy, I want to see this. Looks like Will North, Niagara Falls. Just want to know how far. Just see where they are. Oh, it looks like. Okay, so Niagara Falls looking to try to score. It's a 4th and goal. Trying to lobby one in, and it's going to be incomplete. That's a big defensive stop for Will North on 4th and goal at Will North's 5-yard line with about 92 seconds to go in the first quarter. As we mentioned, with teams like Will North and Niagara Falls, both teams battling out. So Will North Spartans able to stand strong there. It looks like for some games we got them right at the midfield marker. And it looks like we might have something developing up in that Dunkirk Albion one. Just saw a big play there. Oh, no, my apologies. Looks like that might have just been a replay that they had. But Dunkirk looking to... Might have been a replay that they had. Yeah, it's one of the replays that they got. Oh, they fooled me there, Jeremy. Fooled me too. But, hey, you know what? They're at Albion's 31. So 15-0, showing the replay. First quarter for them, and got a stoppage here. I don't know if it's a timeout. They might just ended the first quarter. Looks like they might have just ended that first quarter. But Dunkirk up on Albion 15-0. West Seneca East just extended the lead. They're up 13-0 as well. Niagara Falls tried to go for a 4th down play, needing 5 yards, but Will North came up with a big defensive stop.
You have an update. Our crew at the OP Lancaster game is working through some difficulties. We should have a link shortly. It's going to be put on, I think, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. But I will, when we have that link, we're going to put it in the chat for this video and then the chat for the original link too. But it'll be a slightly different link, but we will have that in just a few moments. So that game is happening. So just to update you on that one. I did not get a score because I was focusing on helping. You know what? Can we, because I haven't been in a few minutes, can we had the scoreboard up so at least I can get up to speed on what all the scores going on here? All right. Southwestern Frewsburg 13-6. Will South up on Pioneer. So Pioneer was in the red zone, right? And they didn't score?
I don't know about that Pioneer one. I know Niagara Falls almost tried to score, but they couldn't convert. Lancaster up 7-0. Look at the schedule here. Okay, so that was on Orchard Park. So we just been told Lancaster's up 7-0 on Orchard Park. Trying to look at one game.
We do have an update from Twitter. It looks like Tonawanda is up 8-0 over.
That's look at.
Okay.
Yeah, Cleve Hill.
Over Cleve Hill. Nick Gaff with the, get this, 102-yard interception return for a touchdown. Yes, 102. That's according to Colin Gallo on Twitter, who I believe played for the Warriors a couple years ago. 102-yard interception return for Nick Gaff. Tonawanda leads Cleve Hill 8-0.
And I don't know if we have this update yet from Southwestern Frewsburg. They just ended the first quarter. They're up 14-6 on Fredonia. 102-yard pick six.
Yeah.
Almost had that when I was at the Lakeshore South Park game. It was Tommy Smaldino for Lakeshore had the INT in the end zone and took it almost, I want to say 50 yards or 50-plus yards back.
All right. Okay, start of the second quarter, it looks like 14-6. Southwestern Frewsburg leads, and it's I think Fredonia has the ball now, but they have it in their own side. But that's okay.
I think we mentioned the Salamanca score 6-0, but I want to mention the touchdown. Cam Bowser had a 47-yard touchdown from Salamanca to help him go up 6-0.
Orchard Park Lancaster game should be up in pretty soon here. So that is coming